Whew. There we go. All right, here we are. Game 2 between MZ Online versus Team Red. Winner of this best of 3 goes on to face is GG, and I'm your caster here, B-Cop, joined by Clairvoyance. Ooh, a little bit of a repeat there. But we're getting to the middle of this draft. MZ Online versus Team Red. Take a look at these bans. Centaur, Slardar, OD banned out by Team Red. Now the Morphling. And then MZ Online, they've banned out the Coddle, Lone Druid, and Lifestealer. Team Red pick up the Axe and Earth Spirit. MZ Online, they go for the Sand King and the Rubik. So we get a feeling into this draft, looking towards that third pick, kind of get a feel for where everybody's going to be going. And let's see, any thoughts there, Clairvoyance?
Pretty standard opening so far. I would like to say it's actually not too standard to see Axe as a first pick these days. It's an incredible hero, but it does have counters. Mainly saves in the game. Shadow Demons. Obviously, Dazzle's not the one that saves against the Axe. Axe counter for Dazzle. But overall, a very good hero. A very underrated hero, I might add. And it will come to popularity again in due time. So the bans aren't spectacular either. I mean, we saw the Slaughter Centaur actually lose together last game. Team Red taking no chances and just banning them out straight up. And yeah, this one will be a closer match. I think I've seen some of these guys on the Radiant side in the matchmaking. I guess in pubs in general. I think they're probably. I'm hoping they're at least 6K. Red, obviously, they have some former tier 2 players mixed in there as well. I'm expecting them to win, I'd like to say. But you never know.
Yeah, I've actually seen Baba Ganoush and Fuzzy Sloth. I'm trying to remember where I saw them play. I think I casted them super recently, but I couldn't even tell you off the top of my head. It's been quite a long day, but Team Red, I know I casted them for COD League. I don't think Monib was on the team then, but right now it's Bloody Nine, Annihilate, Monib, Jenkins, Ryu, and that's straightforward. Then Baba Ganoush, Fuzzy Sloth, Henry, and Love. So you take a look, they now picked up a Silencer. Is that going to be a position 4 Silencer with Axe going towards that off lane? Or is that going to be a core Silencer?
It's probably a 5 position Silencer with the Earth Spirit on 4. And so the Axe will most likely start off lane / jungle. I think how they want to do it is they want to have the Axe... They want the Axe pick to kind of block some of the potential carry picks, because this Axe will most likely not lane. He'll go into the jungle regardless. And the Earth Spirit's kind of the protector of the jungle, right? Because his ability to kind of harass, take 1v1 engagements, skirmishes and whatnot, and gank lanes, really. So, yeah, so far they got their 3, 4, 5. MZ, on the other end, they picked their safe lane here with the Rubik Luna. Possibly a Sand King as the third hero in addition to that, but Sand King versus Earth Spirit roaming 4 position versus 4 position, it's not really fair.
Yeah, and I kind of like this MZ Online lineup of Luna, Rubik, Sand King. It's quite a bit of lockdown coming in already, and with Rubik, Sand King, so Sand King your off lane, or Rubik going to be your support. Do you see Shadow Demon coming out with this Luna, or is it just going to fly under the radar?
I'd like to say, to be completely honest with you, I hope not. I think SD Luna actually runs well into red because they don't have that much AoE damage. They have some control, but Silencer is definitely not a counter to SD Luna. And I think the SD looks better now because the Axe as well. But I also don't want to say you want to rely on SD as the save against Axe when there is a Silencer. Because when the Axe calls a big hero, chances are there's going to be a global silence follow-up. And what you don't want to do is rely on these spells. What you want to do is rely on heavy damaging and constant values such as the hero like Terrorblade. Something that's like always a threat. You have to deal with it. Suddenly the tables have turned. But MZ have a really good lineup so far. Their draft is very open and very strong.
Yeah, I like their draft, and maybe on a better team like Team Red, we could see this Terrorblade do a little bit more. And you've got Terrorblades.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, that now
Really
is back going to be your off laner. Sand King moving more into that 4 spot that we saw in the last game for is GG.
Now that you mention it, I'm actually not entirely sure. Because we've seen the recent surge and the popularity of the 4 position bat. I'm not a fan of it personally. I think finding farm on bat is really difficult to do unless you're kind of just focusing on it. You know what I mean? with the 4 position bat, what you're doing these days is you're going to a lane, just spamming sticky napalm on a dude and just right-clicking them, and like that's how you zone heroes. I'm not sure how efficient it is, especially with a jungle axe that you can't really follow. I will say there's potential for a Sand King Batrider lane where they can just try to shove it in again against the Terrorblade. Like I said, this is how teams play these days. They just like to shove in their off lanes and make it hard for the enemy carry to farm. And heroes like Terrorblade, if you get shut down by a hero like Batrider, who's like a natural counter and a natural predator, you're gonna find it very hard to find space for yourself to keep up.
10 seconds remaining.
So both teams needing a mid.
5 seconds remaining.
Tinker getting banned out here. In terms of mids, I guess you can, consider Lone Druid there too. He does go both safe lane and mid at times. OD obviously a mid, and now Invoker gets picked up by MZ Online. Could we see something like a TA get picked up for Team Red? Something that kind of does well in lane and hits hard mid to late game?
I think that's a possibility. I would say I'm not a fan of it because I think TA actually doesn't play well into Radiant's lineup at all. TA is a very high burst initiation hero that you want to blow people up with. And there are targets like Rubik that you can blow up. But for one, you never want to play TA against Batrider. It's just never a fair matchup. And then I suppose the other thing would be that when it comes to team fighting, Red already have a lot of physical damage. What they want is the ability to push out lanes because the Terrorblade illusions probably aren't enough alone. And the Radiant have 2 carries, so there it is. There's the other hero that can push out lanes and be another threat. It's the Shadow Fiend with possibly a BKB and a really strong presence in the...
Yeah, I mean, Shadow Fiend mid, especially, I think more this Earth Spirit is going to be looking to gank over mid. We didn't really see that in the last game with the Earth Spirit. I think this Earth Spirit more would do a better job with Shadow Fiend mid. You get that rolling boulder in with the 3 raises, and you can take out an Invoker if he doesn't have Ghost Walk. And I think it's going to show up to be a favorable lane for mid for Team Red with Shadow Fiend and possibly Earth Spirit coming over, but obviously you can't count on that always happening.
I think for the most part, the SF would be fine. And the Earth Spirit is gonna want to just roll in once or twice to the Invoker, but he doesn't really have to focus there. I think the Earth Spirit would spend his time better doing either following the Batrider wherever he goes, and then kind of countering the Sand King's rotations because SK rotations aren't very strong. And then I suppose what they could do is just try to snowball the Terrorblade's lane most importantly because this Sand King Batrider lane, it's actually really strong. They can push in that lane pretty hard.
So we take a look around the horn. We see Bloody Nine going to be out on that Silencer. Annihilate for the Terrorblade. Ryudodo with the Earth Spirit. Monib on the mid Shadow Fiend. And then offlane is going to be Jenkins. Hello, my name is Jenkins. And I'm here to give you a tutorial for Axe. And then we are going to see Fuzzy Sloth on the Luna. Baba Ganoush with the Sand King machine. Online machine? Jesus, that's quite the... No, MZ Online. All right, Machines Do Care is going to be on the Rubik, Henry on the Invoker, and then finally it's going to be Love on the Batrider. So see how these lanes kind of put themselves out.
So it looks like given the items that the Axe has, okay, this is I call this the Universe build, the items that he has inside his inventory now. Basically, Universe likes to do either PMS or Stealth Shield and Ring of Protection, and carry a TP early as soon as possible. Now, he doesn't normally buy it with his initial items, but you can certainly do this. This is what you do when you think that you want to get the first creep wave and port out and start jungling. And it's actually really efficient because a lot of times what it does is it forces the enemy supports to actually stay there in the lane to zone the Axe and then miss their first pull timing. So, unfortunately for him, MZ is aggressive tri-laning, and this is actually really smart too because Batrider destroys Axe 1v1.
Oh wow, 2 very lucky spins right there.
Wow, he's not napalming at all.
Yeah, very interesting. He hasn't even skilled it yet. A lot of spins, wow. Already level 2.
Yeah, not using a lot of regen here is critical because that means you get your next item, which is much faster. This bat might have not played this lane before because I think what he's trying to do is like he's gonna pull this creep wave. The thing is, Darkseer would be good for this kind of thing because you can get everything for sure. For one, Batrider doesn't farm this camp very fast, and for another, it's a waste of his time because the Axe is actually farming a camp as well. Except Axe has a spin, where Bat Rider, he doesn't have Firefly right now. Look at him, he's just napalming creeps, and he might actually miss the other creep wave coming in. So he's going to realize that he's going to start missing out on stuff right about now, because there's a wave under his tower that he's not getting, and there's a neutral camp that he is getting.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
And we
attack.
take a look over mid. The Earth Spirit Ryu is going to miss that rolling boulder. Like I said, I thought he was going to be aggressive, and that's exactly the plan. You know, you want to get that rolling boulder in with the multiple raises. And, you know, especially if Rio hits 2, he could get that stun out onto Henry as well. And that can definitely be some cause for concern on the side of MZ Online. I think Moni is definitely good enough to kind of pull off a couple of kills mid if he does get the support from Ryu.
Radiant's bottom
There it is. The Bat Rider is able to force out the Axe TP. He should have done this way earlier. I think he let this Axe go completely unpunished. If you look at the CS now, the Axe has 18 CS at 2 minutes. This is not what's supposed to be happening in this.
And he's level 4, too. Like, he's way in front.
This Bat Rider definitely misplayed this lane. Again, I think it comes down to experience. I'm pretty sure he's never played a Bat Rider versus Axe. But
So-
that's okay. It's just what happened.
We actually just see a Burrow Strike come the way of Ryu. He's going to rolling boulder up towards top rune, and he'll pick up the Arcane rune, which is, for me, in my opinion, Ryu, that he's going to definitely use that to go in mid as many times as he can.
Yeah. So Rio's Earth Spirit is like, if I have to make a clear comparison, it would be like, you know, Monkeys Forever?
Mhm.
Like, the way some of these guys play the game is like, they actually just don't care about the consequences that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Rio Earth Spirit, like, he always rolls in. He doesn't actually care if he's going to hit or not. He sees, like, the first hook or the first roll-in opportunity he sees, he just does it. Sometimes it's bad, but sometimes it could be really good because it just starts something that the enemy's not expecting. Now, he's finally made his way top as Axe pauses for a second, but this is the other way, and this is what I think he should have been doing. He should have either been following the Bat Rider this game, and I suppose he can't really do that because he's against the Axe, or he can follow the Sand King, which is, again, the 4-4 matchup. And the Earth Spirit can actually harass out the Sand King, especially if he learns stun at level 1. So now that he's going to come to this lane, I think Red really want to do something with this Terrorblade Metamorphosis, their Silencer Nuke and Harass, as well as the Earth Spirit.
You know, you talk about an Earth Spirit who has no regard for his own life, and I feel like that's one of the best ways to play that hero, because we saw, you know, an Earth Spirit who got down and dirty in, or you had not joined me yet, but the 70-minute game I bet you were watching, you know, during that game, that was an Earth Spirit that was getting, you know, into those positions that are with no regard for him dying. Like, if he dies, that's it. But he's getting in there, getting a rolling boulder, kicking these heroes back towards his team, getting the stuns, and everything his team needs. And once he gets that done, he doesn't care if he goes down because it'll end up working out. And I really do think that an Earth Spirit that plays that way, that has no regard for his own life, really trying to make moves onto the other team is where you need to be playing at. And while I say that, there's a Lucent Beam coming out with a Burrow Strike as well as a Telekinesis. Bloody 9 might be in a little bit of trouble, and they will get themselves a kill as Machines Do Care does get first blood out on Bloody 9.
Oh boy. What a series of unfortunate events if they're really lagging, because it did look like Silencer was kind of lagging. He was caught out of position by the Rubik, and he was going to die regardless.
Yeah.
But that was still an unfortunate sequence of events. But yeah, in some ways I do agree. Francis is the player that played the Earth Spirit. Again, he's actually one of the best Earth Spirits in North America. So I'm not too sure if it would be fair to say he's just got no regard for his life. He does play aggressive, though. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And I do think an aggressive Earth Spirit definitely opens up the leeway for a lot of plays. You can see it here.
Yeah, Fuzzy Sloth, he almost goes down. One more hit would have done it, and they will get a return kill from Annihilate. And actually, this Rubik might have gone in too far. Annihilate's going to dive deep for this one under tower. He's looking for something, and they do get the kill on Ryu Dota. It's going to be Fuzzy Sloth who gets it. You can't catch them both if they're all happening at the same time, and it's going to be Annihilate who gets himself to healing up with that Tango and running out of the length, arm's reach of that Sand King. So 2 for 1, not a bad trade. A kill goes the way of Fuzzy Sloth, who I thought might go down in that fight, but he ends up surviving and getting a kill of his own.
That was a real close one. If you notice, the Sand King actually skilled Sandstorm to try and dodge that last right click from the Terrorblade. He was actually at 59 mana when he skilled it, so he couldn't get it off in time. Unfortunately, he paid the price with his life. He does come back now and take the Invis rune, though. It should have been scouted by the Dire because they both have wards in the exact same location. But he's not worried on the Shadow Fiend. Monib knows that he's got the Earth Spirit behind him, fight
Yeah.
whatever aggression.
And if the Sand King goes in, it would probably be his life instead of Shadow Fiend, especially with nobody there mid for the side of MZ Online. So he's actually making his way up top. They could find something again on Bloody 9. It's just a bit of scouting going the way of Baba Ganoush, and a little bit too far back is Fuzzy Sloth, as well as Machines Do Care. And I thought maybe the Sand King would go in on him. He's actually under Sentry Ward vision, but I don't really think they have enough to get themselves a kill, especially with the Barrel Strike hitting on 2. Now he's going to try and TP out. Is the damage there for Annihilate? No. And meanwhile, off camera, Invoker will fall.
Again, if you do look at the Darts lineup with this safe lane, it's no real mystery why MZ decided to aggro Trolling. Their Trolling is really strong, and Dar's lineup definitely do lack damage. Silencer and TV, you know, especially when the Metamorphosis is down, is their execution tools are just not there, even with the Earth Spirit landing on combo sometimes. So I think if MZ actually played this a little bit better, they would have come out on top on this trial. Sad reality is they lost the Sand King earlier, and they lost as well. Or pardon me, they lost the Rubik as well. So now they're going to be playing with a little bit of a deficit.
And if you guys are looking for Southeast Asia main qualifiers, that's on Beyond the Summit 1. Obviously, there's no number 1 in it, just twitch.tv/Beyond the Summit. We're here with the open qualifiers of North America. So we'll be doing that tour to the finish. And over on the other channel, it will be Southeast Asia main qualifiers.
So now we got the Axe actually camping top lane for a little bit. I was going to say it was a waste of his time to try and gank this lane for the Terrorblade, but there was actually a 3-stack right next to his position, so he decided to take that instead. And if you look now, 6 minutes in, and he's 400 gold away from Blink Dagger. This is all a product of the laning phase going so well, and then the follow-up being even better. So if they do get their Blink Dagger on this tax by like 8 minutes, which I think is going to be the timing, then they're going to be able to make a real big play with the Shadow Fiend and the Earth Spirit very soon.
Yeah, you get in there, Blink Call, Rolling Boulder, you're just hitting away with Jenkins after the call. It's going to be tough for the side of MZ Online to really avoid the aggression that's just going to be inevitable for the side of Team Red. You know, once you get that Blink Dagger, you're really trying to be on the offensive as an Axe.
The nice thing about this game, too, is because the Radiant doesn't have an Axe save in the Shadow Demon or something like that, some OD Astral, whatever, if this Axe ever gets a call on the Luna, she will most likely kill herself. That's the beauty of Axe, actually. It's pretty much the anti-carry of the offlane. It's so good against so many carries in the game.
And to me, it seems as though all 3 lanes kind of went in favor of Team Red. You know, the Luna made her way down low, but that was after the Axe really just got a good enough start and has been farming the jungle ever since, and now has enough for that Blink Dagger. Up top, they pushed out the likes of, you know, of this this Sand King Rubik combination, and for Team Red, it seems as though they just won every lane.
Yeah, this is honestly nasty. This is a 7-minute and 30-second Blink Dagger. You know, this guy is known for his tutorials, and he might as well make one here too. He free farmed for the first 4 minutes inside the lane. And again, I think that's partly due to Batrider kind of being too passive and not really knowing how to react to the lane skipping, creep skipping. But he really farmed amazingly, and now he's here at bottom, ready to gank the Luna, as mentioned before.
Yeah, they might be looking to get a Rolling Boulder in. Machines Do Care is there, but there's the Blink Call, and Telekinesis does save him for a little bit. But Fuzzy Sloth might be in a little bit of trouble. The Eclipse actually comes out. Ryu will fall. But, you know, Eclipse, I guess Eclipse does save your life as well as, you know, you get yourself a kill. I think the Luna does kind of benefit there a little bit, but I think it kind of works out for Red.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those scenarios where nobody really wins, nobody really loses. It's kind of like the follow-up here. What's most important? Now, if the Luna does die after that sequence, it's still bad for the Luna. But if she survives and is able to farm more while Red is not making any plays, then Red is fine because they realize that there's no Eclipse and they can choose to take the fight at will. Like I said before, though, they need damage on Red. They need the SF in this smoke with the Axe. SF is going to be the one that's dropping the target to execution range for the Calling Blade. As we saw there, you know, he didn't spin once, and Luna was sitting at 500 HP and decided to just turn on both of them. So I think Red need to recognize and gauge their damage meter properly decide to do this with a little bit more forethought. He does have DD now, so he's going to go in for the solo quick.
Yeah,
Again,
Blink and the call. Sunstrike is
it.
going to hit on Jenkins, but he does get the Calling Blade out on Luna, and he'll be okay. So he gets himself that kill that he wanted for the first time, and...
Yeah, he told his Earth Spirit that he doesn't need him. That's the play.
That's unfortunate. You know, you want
That's
to feel...
an Adora right there.
You want to
Just
feel
do everything
wanted.
by yourself. Top tower.
Yeah, top tower, Annihilate. He has used Metamorphosis. He's there with the Silencer. You try not to get in the face of Terrorblade that's used Metamorphosis unless you know you can get the kill. So they'll concede their tier 1 tower. It's not the biggest of deals, but it does come sub 10 minutes in.
TV is definitely having a good time. Of course, he's not the most farm hero on the map. In fact, the offlane Axe is still more farm than him. But this is just a product of the event. What can you say? The Axe got a big kill on the Luna solo. He was farming all game. Really just having a good game. And now Monib's down here with the Shadow Fiend. Strong enough to actually force this tower slowly. As I say that, the Barrier is porting in. He has a Blink Dagger that Red does not know about. And maybe he is going to be able to find a pick.
It's going to be a tough play. It really comes down to who jumps first. Because if the Bat Rider jumps first with the lasso, he doesn't have a Force Staff, so the Axe can go in with the call, but there it is. The Axe goes in first. There's the Burrow Strike to line it up. The Shadow Fiend is in a little bit of trouble, but he will get that Requiem of Souls off, and now he might even find himself, too, in both him and the Rubik, but it'll only come as he gets his life taken, and it will be a 2-for-1 trade for 2 supports for 1 kind of heavy-duty core.
Yeah, I think he would have gotten the Rubik kill if he actually X-raised instead of the C-raised. I think he misclicked or something, the raise whiffed. But if he got the raise off, he would have killed the Rubik and gotten the EXP. Either way, it's still not that bad. It introduced the Blink Dagger from Bat Rider, and they still got 2 kills out of it. But the problem is the Luna was the one that came back with rewards. So they kind of gave over more than they should, I suppose. But it's not that bad. They still have the solution to the...
Yeah, it's definitely not that bad. The Shadow Fiend, Monib could have definitely made it out alive, but it happens. You know, you get yourself 2 kills, and you'll be okay with that. So, let's see the net worth graph. They're already up 4,000 net worth. They're looking for more. Jenkins going to deny that bottom tier 1, and they might have to force a fight here in mid, because Shadow Fiend and Silencer will just be able to take this tower over time, especially if MZ Online are just going to let them do it.
Oh my lord. This Invoker has an Iron Talon. Have you ever seen this?
No.
This is the most NA Invoker I have seen in my life. I've seen some RR, you know, the AFK farming Invokers as SF is actually going to go down. Nice deal.
Monib, yeah, Monib's going to get out. Or he's actually going to be taken down, not get out. And so there's the Eclipse following through. Fuzzy Sloth, they try to turn this fight around, and you've already lost 2 on the side of Team Red. The Magnetize is out. That'll probably stop MZ Online in their tracks. But, you know, it's 2 kills going the way of MZ Online, and just like that, they've kind of just brought themselves back into this game. You know, down 4,000 net worth, it turns back to about 2,000. And yes, the Invoker got an Iron Talon, but now with a Midas, he might be looking good in the world.
Iron Talon and Midas, that's like the holy duo of NA Dota right here. This is how you get your farm on, baby. Let's go.
And farm he must, down this much.
I think it's kind of a weird choice, though, for Red to take that teamfight in the middle. I suppose they thought it was just a gank, but with all those heroes missing off the map, you have to expect that there's going to be some sort of reaction. And I think the most important thing was Silencer probably told his team that he didn't have mana or the cooldown for Global Silence. So whatever engagement that broke out, they're fighting with a big ultimate disadvantage. Not to mention Terrorblade's positioning, of course. So I think that was kind of an immature decision, I would like to say, coming out of Red on that one. I think that was definitely a blunder. And as you can see, the impact is that Luna is now climbing herself into the top 3 net worth chart.
Yeah, Luna now breaking that Axe net worth, which has kind of gone stagnant. Of course, he's going for the Blade Mail, and he's very close to it, but it seems to have slowed down quite a bit as he's now under both the Luna as well as the Bat Rider, and the Bat Rider is someone he was way far in front of.
Yeah, again, this is just the product of losing your course. I would say the mid fight was really, really unnecessary, and it gives the MZ the momentum they really want. You see the Sand King forward position. It's 14 minutes and he's nowhere close to a Blink Dagger. So as long as Red was continuously just, I suppose, choke out the map and getting picks with the axe where the enemy's Bat Rider is showing or where the Luna's not, they could have had a really good split apart game. But I'm not too sure if that's as easy anymore. Even though they still maintain the tower advantage or have even numbers in towers, their night vision is short, of course, against the Luna, and I don't know. They're just not finding anything. Taking over the enemy woods, but they're not really getting any plays done. So MZ are in position to take a tower and a fight.
MZ, they're in a position to take a tower, but at the same time, we haven't seen the solid combination of the Axe call with a Metamorphosis coming out from Annihilate. So, you know, we did see MZ kind of take that last engagement, but if things if Red are more the aggressor than kind of getting countered by a lasso, I think they'll do a lot better in a fight, where you see them go in with the Blink call and a Metamorphosis. We could see them doing a lot better and not losing 2 for none.
The most important thing is the timing of the global silence. As soon as Axe goes in, that global comes out and they'll win that fight regardless. Or they should anyway. Because they have a lot of burst damage in the Shadow Fiend as well as the Terror Blade just right-clicking a few heroes. But, you know, these fights, they have to be taken with vision. And for now, the vision definitely exists in favor of the Radiant side because of the Luna as well as the Bat Rider.
So, you know, we see Monib taking a tier 1, but their tier 2 up top's in a bit of trouble. You know, the push is now out there from MZ Online, and they're doing very well with it.
Ping seems good, and then 2 people disconnect.
Seems
You
good.
baited right there. You baited for sure. That's an NA. NA seems good. That's what that is.
Use this pause to kind of get up and stretch a little bit. Whew. So everybody connected back in. And here we go. Here's the unpause.
We're back.
And they are going to push this top tier 2, and they'll lose the tier 1. They'll make the trade. I don't see any rotations coming out just yet for the side of Team Red. They continue to push a tier 2.
Yeah, both teams have very good tower siege, and both teams are kind of out of position to defend their towers. So we're just going to see a classic trade here, I imagine. Like, neither teams can get back in time to defend their.
Yeah, I think Red, with the Metamorphosis, might even try for a tier 3, or at least force the rotation back.
I don't think they should. I think this is going to be enough to force them back regardless. So I think actually hitting high ground, I think, is a mistake. They might go for it.
And stun thrown forward. Ryu is going to hit on that Invoker. They are looking for the Burrow Strike. Out on one of these out on one of these members of Team Red. They do get the lasso out on Ryu. Ryu getting very low. There's the Lucent Beam. Ryu, one more shot. He should die. There's the Flame Break. And there's the damage tick.
This is actually the problem with... I suppose these kind of team decisions are what separates the higher tier teams. Something so small as like just pushing for an extra 3 seconds, waiting for the nighttime vision to expire and all these things. Like, you see what's forced out there, right? They kind of baited themselves in with the Earth Spirit getting caught, and then they global to try and save the Earth Spirit. Now in the next fight, they don't have global, and Luna still has Eclipse, and Invoker has all his spells, and Sand King might have a Blink Dagger. Of course, Red doesn't know this, but there's a slight possibility Sand King just comes out at 16 minutes with a Blink. You know what I mean? So these kind of things could really like topple, like, for example, the next fight, and then suddenly Luna Invoker, you can Roche after you win the fight. All these things have to be factored in, and unfortunately, Red, they made us what seems to be a very small cost, a small mistake, could have turned bad for them if this was a better team that they were facing. Now, with that said, MZ can still capitalize.
Blink call down low, gonna whiff on to this Bat Rider, and I don't even know if the Bat Rider knew the axe was there. They blinked at the same time. Maybe he doesn't catch vision of him, but he stays in lane, and there's the blink call, and Monib gets a kill. That was a bit odd, to say the least, because they both blinked at the same time, and I don't know, the Bat, for some reason, stayed in lane. That didn't make sense to me.
Odd sequence of events. Unfortunately, I missed it, but he does knock it out. And that was a nice introduction of the Shadow Blade from Monib, I suppose. He's going to go for the BKB next, which is the classic build right now for Shadow Fiend. The Dragonlance, Shadow Blade, and BKB, or Silver Edge and BKB. It's quite strong, a lot of teamfight impact, but he definitely needs a BKB this game against all of that magic and disables coming out of Z. Again, the farm is still somewhat in favor. I'll actually say heavily in favor of Team Red. They got the two biggest heroes on the map. They got the two most farmed heroes on the map. And they're being able to siege bottom like this as they are. And MZ moving in towards the enemy jungle without really an objective to take. There's no tier 2 tower there. And they could have definitely gone mid, but I'm not too sure why they opted to just go to the jungle.
Yeah, they give up this tier 2. The Terrorblade and the Shadow Fiend, they're well in front of the Luna and the Invoker. I don't see why you give up a tower like that.
I think they're just playing with a lot of fear. I suppose the decision-making process was that if they go mid, they might get caught by the axe, and they don't want to fight 4v5, which does make sense.
And
So
here's
they
the
decided
Shadow
to take over
Blade.
the woods. Yeah,
Blink.
now they're just going to get picked off.
No, he's going to be short. Blink call, and now they're going to spot
Rubik's
the Rubik.
Never
Nope,
mind.
not going to go in on it.
He should have died. Yeah, that Rubik actually dies to 2 hits from the Shadow Blade SF. I've seen this before. The Rubik will melt. But he decides to not go for it, I guess. To good conscience, I might add. There's a Bat Rider missing, so he definitely wants to play it safe.
Yeah, they know the lasso's still up. They don't want to fight against it, give up any unnecessary kills, and not going after that Rubik, I think, obviously
It's
to
the
get that.
safer play.
Yeah, it's the safer play, which this close to qualifying for a regional is what you need to be doing up this much, I think.
Playing safe when you're ahead, there's absolutely...
So it looks as though Red, they'll sit back, get a little bit more farm, which is okay. Terrorblade, he's found himself with the Dragonlance as well as the Manta style, farming very well. Top of the net worth, over 3,000, or just about 3,000 in front of this Luna. And,
You had to double check your math there, didn't you? Caught you, dude. I'm just kidding.
There's the blink with the call. What is going on with this blade mail? Coming out of Jenkins so much.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage from the axe. Again, to have an off-lane hero that can always apply some sort of kill pressure on any hero on the map, it's really nice to have, to be quite frank. And I suppose, again, Centaur just becomes a superior version because even though he doesn't have as much burst damage, he has that much more team fight, especially once he gets that Aghanims, right? But, for now, this will suffice because when you get an axe call followed up by a global silencer, things are probably going to go pretty well.
So, take a look. Axe is gone for the +3 mana regen. I kind of like that on Axe. Low mana pool kind of needs the regen pretty quickly. I like that talent pickup. And, Red, they're going to be so far ahead that they'll move on over right into this Roche pit. Pick themselves up, Aegis. It will get seen.
Oh, no. No bash, please. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, gonna sunder Monib, which is definitely the play.
Yeah, that's a close one. If he actually got bashed the instance that the Sunstrike hit, he would have died, 100%. Oh my lord, that was a close one. What a guy.
Almost the play.
That was pretty ballsy to keep tanking the Roche. That's pretty manly.
Felt comfortable, knew he had Sunder.
It could have looked pretty silly, but it is what it is, right? Sometimes you look like a genius, sometimes you look like a fool.
Those are plays that'll make or break the game, unfortunately.
Yeah. That is true.
So they take this Roche, they get the Aegis, and they're starting to creep on into 10,000 net worth lead. It seemed like we've been seeing a lot of teams get down this far, and I kind of ask you the same question, but what's the blueprint for MZ Online's, way back into this game?
what they want to do right now is actually right now. I think they won't do it because the typical reaction to a Roshan, especially a free Rosh, is to just let the enemy take map control and kind of just play back because you don't want to fight into the Aegis. But the correct move is probably to smoke into the guy that doesn't have the Aegis, which is the Terrorblade in this instance. And I think they would be rather successful because they have a ridiculous amount of burst damage. As soon as Sand King stuns and Rubik lifts, the Luna and the Invoker with the Sunstrike possibly is going to blow somebody up instantly. Even before Global Silence might hit, I dare say. But I think they actually want to force something, but again, you play safe. When you see Roshan die, chances are people are going to immediately think to themselves, like, okay, for 5 minutes, let's not fight. So they're probably going to chill.
Yeah, but I feel as though Team Red, they have the ability to push these lanes with ease.
Right,
and,
that's the thing, right? That's why the Radiant should actually do something, so they don't get to their towers.
Yep.
Yeah, the problem is, like, due to the inexperience, most likely, and all these other factors, like, you're playing a high-pressure match, whatnot, you're probably going to just lose objectives. This is actually how you lose the game really quickly. You have to make moves when you're behind like this, otherwise you're kind of just playing to not lose, but you'll lose. So now they're going to go for a tower trade. I'm not sure if it's going to be successful. The Dire push is way faster at this point.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, they'll go straight to a tier 3, especially having that protection of an Aegis.
Right. They're not even waiting for Scotty. That TB Scotty is a huge power spike, and they're not waiting for it because they know how strong they are.
Yeah, they know they can take this tower with ease. They've forced out the Glyph already. There's the Tornado with the EMP, but Annihilate's going to be okay. Actually, the Burrow Strike comes out, and that'll stop him in his tracks. So, I don't know. I feel like they could still stay a little bit forward. There's no mana on Annihilate, which could be trouble, but when all things are considered, they still push pretty quickly. At least get the tier 3 and back off into Shrines. And with that, they'll back off. Never mind.
They scouted the Bat Rider. That was actually a mistake for the Bat to show like this. I think this whole sequence... Oh, this is a really good smoke, though. This is something that that you definitely should be doing. When the enemy's backing like this and you saw all the resources they used, and you know they're going to be just splitting up on their way back towards their side of the map, you should smoke. Now, they smoke really fast, but they're moving really slow. They're kind of like trying to decide where to go. This is actually killing their smoke. If they smoked and just ran straight towards the enemy, that's a complexity smoke right there. That's a really good smoke. But now they're going to run into a shrine.
Yeah, and the shrine's active. I don't know if you got to wait until it's off, but there's the lasso that comes on in, and there's the call that'll stop the Sand King. He'll fall first, and now it looks as though the Batrunner might be in a little bit of trouble. A big tornado comes in with the Sunstrike, going to hit on Monib. He's going to get his Aegis popped. Here comes the Eclipse falling through from Fuzzy Sloth, so they do take out one in the Terrorblade. But now the Shadow Fiend is here trying to get the Requiem of Souls off. He's going to stop it for just a moment, and now they'll get the call out on a couple. They'll bring down two more. Jenkins and Monib combined for a kill on both machines, don't care, and Henry. So 3-for-1 trade. They'll lose their Terrorblade to take out an Invoker, Sand King, and Rubik. And an alright play overall from the side of Team Red. It looked as though that might go all wrong for them.
That was a really close one for sure. The Terrorblade definitely shouldn't have died the way he did. I think he mantled a little bit too slow, or he might have been chained up in disables. Either way, he wasn't able to get off his Sunder, and he did pay the price with his life. I think the fight should have still gone different. I think the Shadow Fiend should have been able to BKB and use Requiem in time. And what that would have done is they would have canceled all the Blink Daggers on Radiant, and it would have reduced their damage by, and it would have slowed them. So it's unfortunate they didn't get a big ulti off like that, but they still won the fight. Of course, they expended the Aegis, but it was going to expire anyway. So they're pretty happy with this. And I think their next move is definitely with the Power Spike and the Terrorblade Scotty.
Yeah, which he's only 400 gold away from getting. He'll just clean up these couple of camps and should be on his way to it. Which, to me, that's, like you said, that's a power spike. And something that can just put him over the edge. That fight looked as though it should have gone so well for the side of MZ Online, and it didn't. So if you're adding more items to it, like a Scotty, it's just going to get that much harder. And, you know, that's, well, like I said, the item that puts him, or puts the side of Team Red over the edge and maybe ends up finishing off this game.
Yeah, it's definitely like a game closing for sure. I do think, though, if they want to do this reliably, given the major qualifier status as well as the previous fight, I think the best way to do this is definitely wait for a BKB on Terrorblade. I still do think they're gonna make a move with the Scotty because it's just such a powerful spike that you want to try to make a move at least and kind of test the waters. Maybe they won't commit to a high ground push, for example. They'll definitely try to split push Indo and try to gain map control again. But to end this game, they want the BKB on the Terrorblade. And when the Terrorblade picks up BKB, this Luna's still like 1 to 2 items behind. behind in terms of farm. So what's gonna happen is the TB will literally just be in the middle of 5 heroes killing everything. I think playing for that is definitely the right call.
So quick pause, everybody getting disconnected, reconnecting. Apparently Canadian lag. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought, everything's so polite in Canada that there would never be any lag. But
Oh, dude, trust me, there's plenty of lag here. All types of lag. For politically correct purposes, unable to specify which types of lag. There are multiples.
so they should be good to go. We'll be underway in just a moment.
That's quite the name, by the way. Baba Ganoush.
Baba Ganoush?
Is it Baba Ganoush?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that gets said multiple times in Goodfellas.
Not my territory, boys.
So down low, it looks as though they're going to be grouping up for the side of MZ Online, and they really need to stay as 5 or really close to it, whereas I think the side of Team Red, they can kind of split off and get things done. And like they're doing right now with Ryu, there is the stun, the silence, trying to force staff himself out. But Baba Ganoush is going to fall to Monib, and he'll be dead for 30 seconds, no buyback. And without the epicenter, without the burrow strike, that's a moment that Red can take to move forward.
I think that was actually quite a good play by Red, and there might be another one here.
Yeah, and there's the Tornado going to save their lives. EMP is going to lower all their mana, and the Chaos Meteor, that's going to do enough with the illusions of Fuzzy Sloth to get themselves a kill on to this Earth Spirit. So it's a 1-for-1 trade. They do end up using Global Silence, so that'll probably push them back quite a bit. And
I think they're getting a little bit too aggressive. Again, they did hit the power spike with the Terrorblade item, but nobody else really got an item. I suppose the Earth Spirit just picked up his Blink Dagger, but they were kind of deep for that. Even the kill in the jungle, the one they had on Baba, I think what happened was he thought it was safe to farm there because the Babbiter just picked up Gem, and he was scouting the area for vision. And as soon as they saw there was no vision, I guess they supposed the map control in that area was theirs. But Red went for a really quick in-and-out play, and they came out successful, but they went deep, man. They went for a second round, and it wasn't just as good.
so with that bit of an exchange, it's still spiraling towards the side of Team Red. There's the blink, going for the lasso, gonna blink away, and Rolling Boulder out. He gets the silence, and now Baba Ganoush actually blinks on in, and stun will miss from Ryu. There's a Tornado. That'll come out on 2 with the EMP, and that'll sap Monib out of all of his mana.
Oh, he also went for the Aghanim's build. You know, SFs that do this, I never see them do it after those items. I always see them do it before the Shadow Blade or something, or right after the Shadow Blade instead of the BKB. But this might... I don't know. I'm not sure how good this is. On the one hand, they have the right click in Terrorblade. They don't need any more extra deep.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you know this Luna's eventually going to buy a BKB, and Invoker is most likely going to be in the backline. So what you want when you're building items on your hero, especially carries, is you want the growth. And Ags is definitely one of those items, like, it can't really be bad. It's probably not going to lose you the game. But I'm not sure if it's going to actually help them win. Because the SF's Requiem was already having enough impact. He just didn't cast it.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid item, especially with that level 20 talent, plus 2 damage per soul, so it'll do a lot here, and then do even more in probably a couple seconds when he hits 20, so it's a solid combination of the two. It's definitely not the strongest item.
I actually think him going straight into Butterfly would have been better, or a Yasha item even, but I mean, it's, again, they're ahead. They can afford to go a little bit greedy on item.
That was a little bit of lag on Ryu from what it seemed. He blinked forward and then just kind of did nothing.
Sometimes that happens when you, with Earth Spirit especially, right? Because you got to click so many buttons. So sometimes your hero doesn't know what to do because you have too many buttons. GG scenario.
So they continue to push mid, kind of trying to make something happen on the side of Team Red, and why not? The side of MZ Online, they're on their heels. They're fighting for their life right now in this game. So why not push bottom, push mid, and make it that much harder for really MZ Online to get something done?
Oh boy, Red's playing this really safe, by the way. They're waiting for the next Roshan.
Yeah, it looks as though they're heading in that direction, and
definitely the correct call at this point. Right now, it's nighttime still too, and the Bad Raiders de-warded pretty much everything they had on the map, so they're playing blind. Again, it's a good call to play safe here.
Yeah, and Roche isn't too far out, and we're not talking 70 minutes into the game where we're sitting for Roche. We're more talking 10 more seconds, and Roche will be up.
That game really killed you, huh?
Oh yeah, that's permanent damage.
Don't worry, man. You'll have many of those in the future, I'm sure.
I mean, I heard you just the other game, the draft. Somebody said Naga in chat. You said Naga, and all of a sudden, both my eyes kind of twitched. It's a scary moment.
Man. You know, 7.0 initially hit, and there were so many people, especially pros too. You know, so many people just went nuts with like all these things. Can't split push anymore, and they realized the game didn't really change.
Oof, tornado from Henry almost catches out that Earth Spirit. Just a touch off and a little bit late.
Henry almost became Harry. Magician. Wasn't able to pull it off today.
So this is the quarterfinal. Technically, really the semifinal of the Open Qualifier, because if they win this best of 3, and the winner of the next best of 3 go on to the regionals. So, there's only a best of 3 to go after this, and then I just want to let you guys know that there will be regionals for NA tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm not part of a hub, but it's going to be on my channel, and then I think the other one's on the Beyond the Summit hub, so Charlie Yang's actually going to be casting that. That should be interesting. So, a couple of disconnects from Team Red again.
These open qualifiers are definitely special. I've completed an open qualifier since Manila. I didn't play for Boston, but I played since Manila, and I won Manila and I won TI. But I lost this one actually 2 days ago. I think I told you this.
Yeah.
I lost to Wheel. They're in now, and it was so sad because we only found out halfway into the qualifier after day 1 that you just have to make the semis in day 2. So I suppose it's kind of like boost of morale among the ranks kind of thing. Because I had a completely new squad coming in this season after kind of playing musical chairs with some of the standard, I guess, T2NA pros this season. But yeah, it was a rough one. We lost to Wheel, and I suppose. So they have to play the winner of this, which let's just assume Red. Red's gonna play against Kyo's team, right?
Yeah.
The winner of that will advance, correct? And then there's another side of the bracket, which I believe Fire Dota's in, and they're probably gonna advance as well.
Yeah, and that should make it, whoever wins in between of it's GG and possibly Team Red against Wheel, I'd say Fire, MP, Onyx, and Complexity, and Freedom. So it's an interesting NA regional. It's, obviously there are other regions that are probably a lot more exciting when you've got, CIS with Navi, Effect, Spirit, Friends, Comanche. Some solid teams there.
I think that's debatable. I think that's debatable. I think NA is actually quite strong, and this might be my bias from playing all these teams.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I will say we played Fire in the Opens just 2 days ago, and we knocked them out. And obviously, a lot of them are good friends of mine. I don't think they're going to be able to qualify personally, but I think they're good, and I think they deserve it. At the same time, though, I think there's a few teams that are kind of far apart from the rest. I think Onyx is somewhat at least better than everybody else. I think Cole's kind of in the same, and I think NP is actually quite significantly better than everybody else. So
and only one team qualifies.
That's right. That's right. So I think everybody, if they had a bill, it would be NP.
Yeah.
But these guys, you compete sometimes for the sake of competing more than anything else.
Yeah, and there's always a chance something happens and you get in. If you make that regional, it's the next step to a possible qualifier, or a step towards qualifying, and there's no reason not to take the opportunity.
Right. And again, I just found this one a little weird because there's so many teams going through open qualifiers, but I suppose that's just the North American. Roshan. Yep. Big
Burrow
fight
Strike
going on
comes out, Eclipse comes on through. They're going to lose their axe immediately. There's the Metamorphosis pop. They're going to try and get themselves a kill on the Luna, but it's not going to be enough. There's the Requiem of Souls coming on through, and now they'll get that kill on Luna as well as Baba Ganoush. EMP's thrown forward will sap Moni Bavala's mana, but with the 2 kills on MZ Online, it looks as though they're going to push forward and try and force out these buybacks.
Something commendable really just happened. I think I've always believed that Shadow Fiend endgame is definitely in a Blink Dagger at some point because he really wants positioning for the ultimate. And if you actually look into Moni's inventory, he's done something that a lot of players really refuse to do. As I said, the fight's still going on.
Yeah, so Terrorblade trying to get this Luna to his demise again. That would be a dieback, and they've already got themselves that tier 3 in the mid lane. They also get half the set of racks with the melee racks, and the EMP saps the mana of Annihilate again. And now it looks a bit of a risky play from that Bat Rider, getting Annihilate not too low, but Red, they'll back up with all 4 of their lives and be okay, so.
Yeah. So a lot of that fight that happened at mid post Roshan definitely came to the Shadow Fiend Blink with the Aghanim's ultimate. That was a really, really nice ultimate that caught the Luna, most important target of course, and kind of zoned out the Invoker from casting any more spells beyond the few, especially with like Sunstrike Initiation and whatnot. This is really good. If he had the Blink in mind as a follow-up to the Aghanims, I would say that this was a very smart decision. I don't think all of his items in his inventory are necessary to pull this off, but I think the way he did it, I think it was quite smart, and I think he's reaping the rewards for it. For example, that team fight was the introduction, and the next team fight I imagine will be similar.
And there's a 4-step forward with the Blink Call. Blade Mail spins a plenty.
Yeah,
And
there's actually no offlane hero in the game that can farm this fast, and so that's why this hero is good.
And Jenkins gets that kill on Invoker, dead for 60 seconds, and that's something to look towards continuing to push on the side of on the side of Red.
Nice solo kill. Yep, 2 shots. 2 shots. 1 hit, raise, 1 hit.
As Monib gets a kill on Rubik very quickly.
This Sand King is a... Well, I suppose he was being bold, but this is just smart, I guess, because they left the lane. He's probably going to push out this lane. No, he's not. What he should be doing is definitely killing this creep wave, because then they get vision and they cannot push top lane anymore. But I suppose Dara doesn't care because they're like, okay, we're just going to go in bottom. We still have Aegis. We have everything we need. 2 heroes are dead. Let's go. Now Sand King's cutting the rope.
Yeah, so now he's going to clean that creep wave up top, and meanwhile down low, Annihilate's going to use that Metamorphosis. They're going to continue to look for this tier 3 bottom, the second tier 3 that they're going to grab. There comes the Burrow Strike out onto the Terrorblade, but it really doesn't deter the side of Team Red at all. Blinking forward, trying to get a stun is Ryu, and there's a quick pause again, and he does actually end up hitting that Bat Rider. It's tough. It really... It's tough to play with, I guess, the amount of lag they're playing with right now, but they're still doing well with it.
Sorry, you're a little bit robotic for me, but yes, I do think lag is universal. Sorry, I can't make up what you're saying right.
We'll have to wait till I get on Roboti.
Good. Sorry, it must have been my end or something.
No, it could be my end. It definitely happens to me all the time on Discord.
Okay.
My friends always complain about it. So they will get themselves a set of racks. Meanwhile, there's the lasso on Ryu. He might be in a little bit of trouble. The Lucent Beam does follow it up. He's going to be the first one to fall on the side of Team Red, but now they're trying to bring it on back. There's the Blink calling an already dead Rubik, who's going to buy back. And with that, they've taken a set of racks down low. And actually, MZ Online, they're trying to look for more. They get the Requiem of Souls out twice on Fuzzy Sloth. It goes out, comes back in, and now it looks as though that Bat Rider's going to die to the Culling Blade. Rubik dies again after buyback. Sunstrike will hit on the Silencer, almost taking him out, but there's the mid-racks done on the side of MZ Online. And Red, they're continuing to move on forward. They're not taking any steps back, and you can see that with the Blink call from Jenkins, but still going to get hit with that Burrow Strike. And now Hurricane Pike comes out from Fuzzy Sloth, not going to really do anything to Monib on this Shadow Fiend as they lose the Aegis, and Annihilate's back online, who might be in a little bit of trouble. Here comes the Epicenter. They're following it up with everything. And Fuzzy Sloth does get a return kill on Terribly. They lose 2 sets of racks, and Bloody 9, he'll fall as well. There's the blink call on 2. This could do something for the side of Team Red, but he gets used up. It'll save the life of 2 on the side of MZ Online. And now retreating, Team Red have given up 3.
Yeah. 3-2-2 is what I like to say. I don't think that's enough for MZ to come back at this point, but that's definitely a 3-2-2. Sticking around way too long, trying to save each other, and all of them just dying for it. Especially the TB. What did he sundered his silencer, I believe, and then he went down to like 600 HP, and he didn't have sundering. It was just kind of in the middle of the fray for a very long time. Just ended up dying, and then they were just able to get the rest. And, yeah, it's unnecessary, but they still have 2 racks, so I suppose it's fine. I think the Shadow Fiend just picked up another item though. Sold his Dragon Lance and his Shadow Blade.
Yeah,
this is also a 3-2-2. I'll tell you this right now.
Just for a refresher.
Yeah, this is a 3-2-2 and a half. He also bought Yules as well, so he's doing the full-on Sumail build here. This is totally unnecessary. You know, like he should have just had his items and just grown himself with a butterfly. I think at this point, like the refresher is kind of just style points and whatever, and maybe they're probably thinking they're ahead enough that they can kind of mess around a bit. But I don't think that's a wise decision. I hope they don't pay the price for it at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, they are up 20,000 net worth, but, you know, like we saw in previous games, you can get too cocky. As there's the stun out on the Invoker with the blink call. It is going to land on Henry, who's going to try and ghost walk out, but he's going to get dusted up, but no follow-up from the side of Team Red.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't actually know that you can still move at the 550 movement speed with Invoker when you're dusted. But I guess with the Yules and the bots, that's how fast you are. Very nice.
Yeah, he's got the extra movement speed from quite a couple of items. And with this, Red, they'll take this bottom shrine. They've already taken the one up top. They're just taking their extra gold in stride. And hopefully they don't slow down. You know, when you kind of slow down with a lead like this, that's where you find it kind of dwindle away. And with that being said, you see 4 heroes on the side of Red smoke up. They're going to try and get into this base, considering there's no tower or racks, and make a big play to end this game and move on to face its GG. But again, the game not over. Trying to make something happen with that deep ward and showing himself mid is Henry. And there it is, blink call, and the big ulti comes out from Monib just to destroy him. Only needs the souls going out, doesn't need him coming in.
Yeah, if you notice his inventory, he actually bought a Gold Scepter. This is like the anti-mage counter to Axe. Oh, hold that thought.
A big lasso comes through, and he's going to pull him past the Sunstrike. They will take out this Shadow Fiend, but they threw everything at him. So maybe kind of blowing your load a little bit too much. The Axe going in. The Lucent Beam hits on Bloody 9. He's going to get hit by that Burrow Strike. He'll be taken out as well, and trying to TP out his Jenkins, and he will. So they get the Shadow Fiend, they get the Silencer, but they blow everything for it.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you don't sell your items to buy Refresher and cool. This is unnecessary. If he just decided to buy a Lincoln's or something as his last item without selling half his inventory, none of this would have. Again, they're still very ahead, and Terrorblade wasn't even in that fight. As a matter of fact, TB just picked up a Butterfly, so he's that much stronger for the next one. But, you know, a couple of more of those sequences inside the base, and Radiant can catch up. Their heroes scale incredibly well. Going back to what I was saying just before this potential Roshan breakout, this Gold Scepter doesn't really counter the Axe because you can't react.
There's a blink with the lasso into the EMP. Sunstrike right on the money, and one more shot will do it. And you think to yourself, you've had such a lead. Now 3 heroes are dead. Luna, one of the best pushers in the game. I just don't feel like you could be this cocky, especially 1 game away from going to the finals of this qualifier.
This is definitely starting to get a little bit clowny, I dare say. Again, I still think they're in the lead. They should take a proper 5v5 with the initiation from Max, as well as the global and the Terrorblade's presence. I'm sure when they do, it'll still look pretty strong on their side, but I suppose the next move is Roshan for both teams. It's about to spawn, and people should have the timers ready.
So, Roche up in 30 seconds, and that'll definitely favor Red to get it, considering they still have their shrines and they're very far ahead. We'll push out these creep waves and probably head in that direction very soon. Or just get another pause.
You know, you were scared of another 60-minute game, but does it count when you accumulate the pause times?
It's a little bit more exciting than the 70-minute game of Medusa Naga, where you just kind of, for the last 30 minutes of it, it was go in, song, still lose your Naga, wait for buyback, wait for Roche, and that was where the 10-minute splits were coming from.
Yeah, you probably didn't enjoy that game, and many spectators might have felt a little bored at times. But I'll tell you, in that game, there are a few players who definitely enjoyed the hell out of that game.
Oh yeah,
Yes, the Naga and the Medusa are having the time of their lives. They're living the dream right there, man. What they can't accomplish anywhere else, they're doing it in that Dota game for sure.
The Earth Spirit was having quite a bit of fun in that game and ends the game on an amazing kick.
Francis Earthspirit. Quite the spectacle. Batrider is going in now. He has good vision. They've actually got really good ward placed in. Can he find the right target?
He's going to go in, lasso the Silencer. You want to get rid of that Global Silence with the Eclipse raining down onto the side of Team Red. They've lost the Silencer, but they've already lost the Luna as well as the Rubik. They're trying to get more in the Batrider. There's the Culling Blade to get 3. And none of those heroes have buyback. The buyback already used by the Silencer. And Invoker going to do what he can to really save his team. There's the Epicenter coming in from Baba Ganoush, but he's not that high a level and doesn't have that much farm to really be doing too much. And there's the Blink call out on 2. Culling Blade comes through on Baba Ganoush, and with that, they'll call GG on the side of MZ Online, and Team Red will be moving on to the finals versus It's GG.
Man, half these guys are Canadian for sure. They're apologizing to each other for lag. I would never apologize for lagging.
I hope the lag doesn't hurt Team Red coming into this final.
Oh, well, let's certainly hope not, because they're going to need all the best condition in picks, execution, and all these things to go up against this NA stack coming up with QO.
So
we'll talk about it when we get there, I suppose.
Yeah, so I'm your caster, B-Cop, joined here by Clairvoyance. We're going to be back in a moment with Team Red versus It's GG whenever that starts. For now, enjoy some music, and we'll be in chat just talking about, and we'll be ready for the next game soon.